Girl,
At what point are we gonna get up and leave churches? Like, like y'all let people say anything in these
not even
pulpits.
thinking with their own mind, much less a mind of Christ. The women want to be in charge. And this is the result of women being in charge. The truth really is that typically, if a woman is going to work and have a family, something is going to suffer. I really know of a true woman who would not want to take some time off for some period of time to make sure that they can really focus on family and get that in order, because it takes so much energy to juggle all of these
Your
things.
family is your first ministry. Like, they should not fall to the wayside, because when it goes, it's like an extreme.
We go public with this right now. Like a city on a hilltop.
But he lost me when he was like, Jesus was out of order. So
Yeah,
like,
yes. Girl,
at what point are we gonna get up and leave churches? Like, like y'all let people say anything in these pulpits. Like, hold people, y'all gotta hold people accountable.
And this is the thing
crazy.
that really is eye opening, that she made sure she emphasized, is she said that most of these churches, because they have so many Black women who are willing to follow and be up under like the foolishness that almost like it's like they're co-signing their own sin and their own stuff that they got going on.
Yeah.
If it's really us, and I hate to say us because I hate being grouped with people who I just happen to look like you, but I don't think like you. So I just hate it. But it's majority in all of these spaces, Black women who are just wholeheartedly agreeing, yelling everything, not communicating, not thinking with their mind and or with the mind of Christ. They're not even thinking with their own mind, much less a mind of Christ.
Yeah.
And just wanting to be led, by somebody who's not a good sheep. And I mean, it's so many of them.
Yeah.
And it's mostly us. And I'm like, this is the exact reason why the family is like out of order. Like, we got so many issues and we're just like letting it happen because the women want to be in charge. And this is the result of women being in charge.
Yeah. Now your feminists may come after you for that one, but I mean, it's
Hey,
the truth.
it's
Like,
the truth.
it is like, maybe y'all can have it. I don't want to be a strong, independent Black woman. Like, I'm good on that. So
Y'all did not consult me when y'all came up with these ideologies to be like, well, we want to. I was looking at we was looking at the episode of Different World because they got it on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Right? So we was looking at the episode of that, and it was the episode where Whitley and Denise did a debate. What the white roommate she had? I forget.
Okay. I think her name was Molly.
I think so. Yeah. So they were doing a debate against Whitley, and the premise was, if women choose to work and have a family, one must suffer. So that was what Whitley was proposing. That was her proposition. And Denise, of course, was challenging against it, saying that, people have to balance. And that if you're in the right relationship, you kind of find balance to respect each other's like desires. And I get that to a certain extent. But the truth really is that typically, if a woman is going to work and have a family, something is going to suffer. Like, you cannot ignore that. And I think we have ignored it because we want to make sure that we can work. We want to make sure that we can have our own finances. Like, for what? Yeah. We want to make sure that we can do all these things to like feel successful. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, well, y'all's definition of success is skewed in the wrong direction. Yeah. And I think that's the real issue, because really, if we thought that our having a family was successful, we would see this whole situation differently. It's nothing wrong with education. It's nothing wrong with pursuing a career. But when it comes to your family, mm-hmm. I don't know if I really know of a true woman who would not want to take some time off for some period of time to make sure that they can really focus on family and get that in order, because it takes so much energy to juggle all of these things.
It does. And it's so funny that you even brought that up, because like we were talking about in my small group last night about like these mighty prophets and how they were just like on fire for God. They were doing the will of God. Like, they were like beloved. Like, we look at like David, we look at who was it? It was somebody else. Samuel, like the prophet Samuel and things like that, how they were on fire for God. But as we see, like, their children end up being like rebellious and things like that, losing inheritance. So it's like we see it even though it's like from a male perspective, how we can have one area of our lives so in tune, but then turn around and it's like our family, which is our first ministry, suffers because we're not instilling those same ideologies and principles into them. Like, you think because you see it a lot with PKs too. Like, why are they so? And I pose the question just like, why is it from one extreme to the other? You know what I mean? Because I think we get so caught up in the focus of, oh, I need to be this type of leader. I need to, be able to work in this way. Or even if you feel like, you're serving, you have to keep the focus on the fact that your family is your first ministry. Like, they should not fall to the wayside, because when it goes, it's like an extreme that tends to happen in these cases. You know what I mean? So
that's a really good observation, because that's very true. It really doesn't even matter about like the sexes at this point. It's more so like, are we prioritizing the thing that God wants us to prioritize in our families? Like, that's the true inheritance,
right?
Like, generation to generation. If I gain wealth and the next generation blows it, it's not long lasting. It had an end, and that's not effective for anyone. That's not going to be effective for my grandchildren or my great grandchildren. Everybody's going to have to start over. There are going to be mindsets and lessons that were not passed down. And God gave us that blueprint when He, in Deuteronomy, especially when He told them from generation to generation, you are to tell your children of these things. When He outlined in Exodus the holy days, the feast days, He said for almost all of them, generation to generation, you are to do these things. And it was because He wanted specific times of remembrance to be passed down. So there is a day, a week, a few days every year that's taken out for each of these feast days to make sure that not just the traditions of, oh, well, we eat this and we eat that. Most of them it had a symbolic reference to it that you are supposed to pass down. So you can take out all the traditions from any holiday, because those are man-made, and you can really see what is the premise of this holy day. Why do we celebrate it? What is important, and how does this connect us back to God? Like, what does it remind us of that God has done? He brought us out of slavery. Like, simple things like that. And if you do not celebrate it,
He allowed death to pass over your house.
Come on, a whole thing. And the fact that people will not prioritize those things in remembering and always like re-emphasizing their faith, and even reminding themselves of like, why do I have this faith? You need that for yourself. So like, God gave us that blueprint. We just have to choose to exercise it.
True.
Set apart, love, know who we are. This is time, and it's ours. Let's take the night by storm. We'll make the streets our own. Let's take